Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me on this live section. Guys, stay with me as I have a lot of things to say in this live section. So, guys, I know that by now, Kenya government will be regretting it. They'll be regretting why they collaborated with Nigerian government to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, guys, to adopt him in Kenya and bring him back. So I know by now they'll be regretting. That is why they have, said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that is why they compensated him with 120 million naira. I know that by now, they'll be regretting. So I know that Kenya has given their, the court has delivered their judgments. They are, they have said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or they have admitted, let me use that word, they have admitted that Kanu was treated badly, and they did not protect him in their country. They have admitted that Kanu was treated badly, and then what they did violated international law, even their own law and Nigerian law. They have admitted it. Guys, do you know that Nigerian government, they have refused to admit the truth? Will I say they are proud? Even when the person that, or the country that they collaborated with to do that operation has admitted, because you know that Kenya government has already exposed that Nigerian government kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and brought him back to Nigeria. So Kenya government has already exposed Nigerian government. Instead of Nigerian government to admit it and then release the man, but no, guys, they are too proud. Are they scared of him? So now, Kenyan government, we have heard what they have said. They compensated him with 120 million naira. And we are asking, what is 120 million naira? Can you compare Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life to 120 million naira? Can you buy his life for 120 million naira? You cannot buy anybody's life for 120 million naira. It's not possible. You cannot buy anybody's life with 120 million naira. You cannot compare what Kanu suffered in DSS dungeon, how he was tortured. In fact, because of the way they tortured him, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu developed ear problem. He was tortured, he was battered in DSS custody, and then Kenya court wants to bribe him with 120 million naira. How? His life is not worth 120 million naira. You cannot buy anybody's life with 120 million naira. So, Kenya court just wants you to bribe him, to silence him with 120 million naira. And then IPOB have come out. We are saying that, Kanu's life is not worth 120 million naira. Kenya must pay for what they did. You cannot just go 120 million. I know that you have to compensate him for damages, but then you have to act. There are many things they need to do. They need to identify those people that were involved in this operation of kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They need to point them out. They need to identify them, arrest them, and prosecute them. That is what they need to do before Biafrans can let go. And then finally, Nigerian government should release him. That is just it. So you giving Mazi Nnamdi Kanu 120 million naira doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, because you cannot compare what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu suffered in court and what he suffered in DSS dungeon and what he's still suffering. You cannot compare it with 120 million naira. It's not enough. It's not enough. So now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on June 28th, 2025, the Kenya High Court ruled clearly and boldly the arrest, detention, and forceful reduction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021 was illegal, period. Kenya court has already ruled, the High Court in Kenya has already ruled that the way he was adopted, the way they brought him or kidnapped him from Nigeria from Kenya to Nigeria was illegal, and that is it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, not lawfully extradited, not deported. He was snatched like a criminal from a foreign land where he sought refuge and secretly flew into the hands of the Nigerian government. That is called extraordinary reduction. It's a crime under international law. It's a violation of both Kenya and Nigeria's constitutional rights. So now what they did, in fact, like I said, Kenyan government will be regretting now why they collaborated with Nigerian government. Initially, they denied that they are not involved in the adoption of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But now you have seen that they have come out to confess. They also, this confession have also exposed Nigerian government of their hands in this adoption case, or in adopting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria. Guys, you can see that they expose Nigerian government. And now, guys, you cannot tell me that there is no Kenya official that is involved in this. There is no way Nigerian government would go to Kenya freely without anybody, without any obstruction, to go to Kenya and adopt Mazi Nnamdi Kanu like that without them bribing any Kenya officials, for that thing to happen. Because for them to go there, that means, Kenya must have collected money from them, or Nigerian government must have bribed some officials, for that operation to hold. So now, Kenya government should point out those people that are involved, fish them out, arrest them, and they should be prosecuted. That is what IPOB wants. Justice must be served. Justice must be served. It's not about bringing 120 million naira. 120 million naira is an insult. It's an insult to, justice system. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life is not worth 120 million naira. You can never buy anybody's life for 120 million naira. What is 120 million naira? After everything that, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has passed through inside DSS dungeon, and then they are giving him 120 million naira. For what? Are they trying to bribe him? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, not lawfully extradited, not deported. He was snatched like a criminal from a foreign land where he sought refuge, and then secretly he was flown in the hands of Nigerian government. This is called extraordinary rendition. It's a crime under international law. It is a violation of both Kenya and Nigerian's law. Now the question is, what next? The court ruling is not just for decoration. It must be enforced. And these are the 4 things Kenya government needs to do. We have heard them. Yes, we have heard what they said. They came out and said that the way they arrested, the way they kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the way they flew him from Kenya to Nigeria was illegal. We have heard them. But then, and they also compensated him with 120 million naira. It's not enough. They need to act. These are the 4 powerful things they need to do before, Biafrans can let go of what they have done. These are the things they need to do. One is arrest the offenders. They need to arrest the offenders. Those Kenya officials who collaborated in the criminal operation must be identified, arrested, and prosecuted. No one is above the law. All those people that stoop too low in Kenya. I want to let you know that Kenya, and you see, for Kenya to do this kind of thing, or for Kenya to be involved in this, just so that Kenya is a lawless country, because they were also violating their own laws. Kenya is lawless. For them to kidnap or be part of this crime, they are lawless. Imagine stooping too low, collecting money from Nigerian government to do this kind of thing. An innocent man, violating your own law, even international treaties that they signed themselves, they also violated it. It is clear now. So this is what Kenya governments need to do. We have heard them. Yes, they have come out to admit that what they did was wrong. Now, you don't just come to compensating with 120 million naira. What if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu died in cell? Will you be compensating him with 120 million naira? His life is what's more than 120 million naira? He passed through a lot. Is it his health condition? Is it the way they beat him? Is it the way they battered him in DSS dungeon, and you're giving him 120 million naira? Is that one a bribe? Or why are you trying to bribe him, or what? To keep silent after all you guys have done to him? No, you have to arrest. Kenya government needs to arrest those people that collaborated in this criminal oppression. They must be identified, they must be arrested and prosecuted. No one is above the law. Another thing they need to do is to enforce the court orders. Whatever remedies the court ruled, be it returning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, be it returning Kanu to Kenya, paying damages or demanding public apologies. Yes, they are supposed to compensate him, but 120 million naira is small. Number one, they need to arrest those offenders and prosecute them, and also they're supposed to also make apology, tender an apology that is going to go viral, that's going to go around the world, to voice out or to tell the world that Kanu was innocent, or Kanu is innocent, that they were doing this thing for political game. You guys know that they were just playing political games in this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. I believe that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was actually innocent, if truly he was a terrorist, Nigerian government would have done things the normal way, the way it's supposed to be. Why would they go to the back, secretly adopt this man in another country and bring him back secretly to Nigeria? He was missing in Kenya. They were looking for him. Suddenly, after days, they found him handcuffed in Nigeria, in Nigeria court in Abuja, a high court in Abuja. Guys, you can see. So now, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a terrorist, they would have, written to Kenya government to tell them that there's a man in your country that is a terrorist. It is now left for Kenya government to do what do. It's now left for them to do their job, and not Nigerian government going through the back and secretly kidnapping him and bringing. Nigerian government are the ones that should be prosecuted. They are the main terrorists, because what they did is called terrorism in Nigerian law and international law, even in Kenya law. What they did was terrorism. They should know that they are the ones that are supposed to be prosecuted. They should enforce court orders. This is what Kenya needs to do. Whatever remedies the court ruled, be it returning Kanu to Kenya, paying damages, or demanding public apology, it must be done immediately. The time for political game is over. Another thing they need to do is to pay reparations. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu deserves more than court judgments. He deserves justice, compensation, apology, and international recognition of the wrong done to him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu deserves something more than court judgments. He deserves to be compensated, and not with 120 million naira. It's too small. And then those people that are involved in that crime, they need to prosecute them, and then they should tender an apology, an international recognition of the wrong done to him. They should guarantee no repetition. This is what Kenya government needs to do. Kenya must pass legal safeguards to ensure such an international disgrace never to happen again. Courts must be obeyed. People must be protected, and then justice must be enforced. Let me tell you, you see this thing that Kenya government did? You see this thing they just did? It shows that people living in Kenya, they are not safe. People living in Kenya are not safe at all, guys. Believe me. This thing, imagine, Kenya collaborating to kidnap somebody in their country and bring illegally, guys. Illegally. For so many years, they kept silent. For so many years, they kept silent. So now, remember that Kanu, let's not forget this. Kanu has been in detention since June 2021. This is getting to 5 years now. In solitary confinement under psychological torture, guys, with severe health condition. His basic human rights has been crushed. Kanu's human rights was crushed. His right was crushed. Yet the Nigerian government continues to hold him in hostage. Why? Nigerian government, even when Kenya has admitted that they were wrong, have admitted what they have done by wronging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but Nigerian government, that is the master planner of this operation, they can't even, they are still keeping him there in hostage. They don't want to admit that what they did was wrong. The accomplices have admitted. Nigerian government doesn't want to admit. Nigerian government continues to hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in hostage. Why? Because they are too proud to admit the truth. Nigerian government is too proud to admit the truth that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent, that the charges of terrorism were built on a political agenda, not justice. They said he was a terrorist, even up to now. 5 years, even if you give them 10 years, they don't have any evidence that shows Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. Give them all the years in this earth, they don't have any evidence. What they do is to hire fake DSS personnel to come and testify against him, and none of their testimonies can hold water. Some even lie, to the extent that the judge had to notice that they were lying and ruled it out. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has won all of them. In all his court sessions, he has been winning. They don't have any evidence. Nigerian government, they are too proud to admit the truth that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent, that the charges of terrorism were built on a political agenda, not justice. And even worse, Kenya still remains part of this crime. Let's know that Kenya is not exempted. They are still in this crime. Until they fully restore Kanu's dignity and freedom, they remain guilty. They cannot come and be saying Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was treated wrongly and then we compensate him with 120 million naira and then he's still in prison. No. Justice must be served. They should release him from there. They are still part of this crime because they collected money from Nigerian government for this thing to be done, for the operation, for them to adopt Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. For how many years they kept silent, guys? For how many years this man has been treated badly? Kenya still remains part of this crime until they fully restore Kanu's dignity and freedom. They remain guilty. The court judgment is not enough. They must act. We have heard what the court said, but it's not enough. They must act. Act, fast for that man to be released. Now, Nigerian government don't know what they are doing to themselves. They don't know at all. If they know that, or if they know that keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there for a second will, bring shame and disgrace to them, I'm telling you, they will not keep him there. I am telling you, they will not keep him there at all. Let's talk about, how disgraceful it is for Kenyan government to place money for Kanu's injustice. Imagine, can you use money to wipe away injustice? How is it possible? Let's talk about the disgraceful rumors, 120 million naira offered to silence Kanu, to buy his silence, to bribe him into submission. Now, how do you put a price on 5 years of suffering? How? Do you know what Kanu has passed through? Do you know how he was battered? Do you know how he was kidnapped? Even some stories that you have not heard of what they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Do you know how he was treated? Even his health. Do you know they denied him of his doctors? Is that not murder? Is that not slow murder? They denied him of his doctors. He was treated badly and they want to give him 120 million naira. What is 120 million naira? What if he lost his life? What if Kanu died there? Kanu had severe illness. The doctors they were bringing for him were not good in that field. Fake doctors. For how many years? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu suffered in DSS dungeon. How can they put price on 5 years of suffering, on illegal detention, on torture, and on a man's life? Now, let us say this loud and clear. You cannot compare 120 million naira with the blood, pain, and agony Nnamdi Kanu has endured and continues to endure. You cannot compare 120 million naira with blood, pain, agony that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu endured, and he's still enduring it now. You cannot. What is 120 million naira? His life is not for sale. You cannot buy justice. You cannot erase injustice with money, no matter the amount. His life is not for sale. His vision is not for sale, and his people will never accept blood money in place of justice. That 120 million naira is a blood money. Yes, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu passed through a lot. Is it pain? You cannot compare 120 million naira with the blood, pain, and agony Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has endured and continues to endure. His life is not for sale. His vision is not for sale. And the people will never accept blood money in place of justice. You cannot erase injustice with money. You cannot erase injustice with 120 million naira. Now, to Kenya government, let them know this. We are watching you, and don't let your court become a toothless lion. Enforce the judgments, arrest the guilty, and apologize to Kanu. Kenya government, just know that the world is watching you, and don't let your court be that kind of court that judgment cannot obey. And enforce judgment, arrest the guilty, and apologize to Kanu. To Nigerian government, release him now. They don't want to admit the truth, and I know that time will come when they will admit the truth. Release Kanu now, Nigerian government. They don't even know that keeping him that man there is causing more problem. They don't know. If Nigerian government knows that keeping that man there is causing problem, they will release him immediately. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, admit the truth, restore his freedom and dignity. And now to international community, speak out. You guys talk about Ukraine, talk about Mali and Niger, but you don't talk about a man that was illegally adopted. You just keep silent when it comes to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. Speak out. This is not just an African issue. It is a global human rights emergency. Now take a look at this video where this Hausa man, a northern man, was talking about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He said the Nigerian government should better release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That look at what look at what Boko Haram is doing in the north. The north is under siege. Northerners are running away from their own homes. Look at what is happening. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Is innocent. You guys don't have anything against him, and you know that all you are just running for your political agenda. They are just they are just what they want is they are after propaganda. Take a look.
Release Nnamdi Kanu. Nigerian government, release Nnamdi Kanu. I hope you people are enjoying the mass destructions that the Boko Haram are causing in the north. Because it is this careless attitude of you people that will make ordinary citizens to sign a mass destruction of a society. Because how long will you detain this man for no reason? Prove to the world what this man have done wrong. If you people are not enjoying the mass destructions of the north by the Boko Harams, release Nnamdi Kanu now. Because what you people will see in the nearest future, it will be a shocking news to the whole world. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Release Nnamdi Kanu or prove to the world what he have done wrong. You people will witness a heavy load. From one court adjournment to another court adjournment to another court adjournment. Release this man or prove to the world what he does wrong. That is what we are saying. Ordinary citizens will sign a mass destructions of everybody. If you people, if care is not taken, this is just a warning.
So even the northerners that once were against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the movement, Biafra government, they were against it, and now they are now realizing that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was actually saving Nigeria. Look at what is happening in the north. Boko Haram, Fulani terrorists everywhere. The north is under siege. Everyone is running away from these bad guys, leaving their farms, leaving their homes. Do you know how many people that are in Edo, IDP camp in Edo State? Do you know how many people that have lost their parents because of that these bad guys have killed their family members? Do you know how many orphans in IDP camp in Edo State? This is how bad insecurity is. Instead of Nigerian government should release. See now, the Northerners are now saying that they should release this man. This is the North that never wanted to hear anything concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They are now admitting that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is actually innocent and Nigerian government should release him. So now, this is advice for everyone. Don't stay silent. If you can adopt a man in another country and hold him for 4 years without free trial, then no one is safe now. Imagine Nigerian government going to Kenya adopting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for how many years without free trial. No one is safe. It can be anyone tomorrow. So nobody should keep. Everybody's now talking. Even Northerners are now, saying that they should release him, and then justice must be served. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not just a political prisoner. He is a symbol of resistance. He's a voice of a people, and then he's a voice of a people demanding freedom and a victim of international conspiracy. The Kenya High Court has spoken. Now the world must act. Remember that 120 million naira can't buy a man's soul. Justice is priceless. It's disgraceful that Kenya government stooped too low to collect money from Nigerian government, and then they now want to come and bribe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with 120 million naira for him to what do they want to do? Are they trying to bribe him for what he has passed through or what? Justice is priceless. You cannot erase. No amount of money can erase injustice. No amount of money can erase injustice. Justice is priceless. 120 million naira can't buy a man's soul. 120 million naira cannot buy a man's soul. Guys, stay with me in this live section as I have a lot of things to say in this live section. Now, there are some things we need to talk about in this live session. Let's talk about the doctrine of the state's responsibility. In international law, there is something called state responsibility. When a government participates in or allow a violation of human rights, like kidnapping someone, just like they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, kidnapping someone from another country, that state becomes accountable under international law. Let's be clear. Kenya is still legally or morally responsible until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's rights are fully restored. Hope you know that. People are, Kenyan government in their mind, they'll be like, oh, they're no more, part of this crime. They are part of this crime. They are still, responsible until Kanu is released. And then until, Kanu's right is fully restored. And then he also gets his dignity back. You can't just say the court has ruled and do nothing. Justice delayed is justice denied. They say the court has ruled that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, how they kidnapped him is illegal. They must act. Justice delayed is justice denied. You can't just say the court has ruled and then do nothing. They must act. If Kenya fails to follow up, then it means any court can, if Kenya fails to follow up, then the court system is useless. If Kenya fails to follow up, then Kenya's court system is useless. It means any court, any country can just ignore rulings, and then that is a very dangerous precedent. You guys know. So now let's talk about why Nigerian government has refused to admit that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent. Many people are saying that Kanu has won Kenya courts. He has also won Nigeria courts, even international courts, like he has won them. Why is it that Nigerian government are still keeping him? Many people are asking this question. Now, here is it. Why is Nigerian government still holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu despite all the legal victories in both Nigeria and Kenya courts? The answer is fear. I've said it countless times that Nigerian government cannot stand Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nigerian government can. That is why even that he has won Nigerian courts and also won Kenya court, but still they don't want to release him. They are scared. Fear. The fear of the truth. The fear that once Kanu is released, the lies they have built their narrative on will collapse. That's just it. That's their fear. Fear is the problem now. That is why they don't want to admit that he's innocent. The fear of the truth. They fear that once Kanu is released, the lies they have built their narratives on will collapse. They fear the millions of people that support him. Do you know the people that are supporting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? It's not just Nigeria. Across the world. They fear the millions of people that are supporting him. Nigerian government cannot stand Biafran government. It's never. Do you know the millions of people supporting him? Do you know? The fear is just the reason why they don't want to admit that they are wrong. They don't want to release him. The fear, once they release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, their plan has scattered. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will expose them. The lies they built their narratives on will collapse. The fear of accountability too. For Operation Python Dance, for the killings of peaceful IPOB members, and for decades of marginalization in the East. You guys know that one is a different story on its own, how Igbos were marginalized. It's a long time history. If you want to understand Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case very well, you have to, go back to how Igbos were marginalized, the genocide that happened. Now, let's just know that, you see, this Kenya and Nigeria did not just violate Kenya and Nigerian law. No, these people violated ECOWAS and African Union Chapter 2. The same international laws they signed. It is not just about Kenya or Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's abduction, torture violates multiple international treaties. It's not about Kenya or Nigeria. His adoption, the fact that he was kidnapped and the fact that he was tortured, violates multiple international treaties. You don't even treat a terrorist like this, the way Kanu was treated. Nigerian government don't even treat terrorists that have unalived millions of people like this. The ECOWAS Protocol of Democracy and Good Governance, they violated it. The African Chapter on Human and People's Rights, they violated it. The United Nations Convention Against Torture, Nigerian government and Kenya violated it too. And even Nigeria's own constitution, they violated it. So when Nigeria continues to detain him, they are violating both international and domestic laws. And when Kenya doesn't take action after ruling, they are spitting on the very treaties they signed. You can see the treaty they signed, they are the ones violating it. You see how useless, how lawless Kenya and Nigerian governments can be. Nigerian government had to go to Kenya to bribe. Kenyan government stooped too low. Stoop too low to as nobody is saving Kenya. Oh. For Kenyan government to do this, nobody is saving Kenya. Nobody is saving Nigeria as well. Because imagine a lawless country like Nigeria going to, in fact, Kenya has spoiled their reputation. I'm telling you. Has spoiled because everybody now will be scared of going to that kind of country. Tell me a country outside Kenya that will do this. When Nigeria continues to detain Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they are violating both international and domestic law. And when Kenya doesn't take action after the ruling, they are spitting on the very treaties they signed. Let's talk about I'm just saying all these things to show you that 120 million naira is nothing. Justice is priceless. Kenya government should stop disgracing themselves by bringing 120 million. Do you think Kanu will accept it? Nigerian government just want to, silence him. But even in detention, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's voice is louder than even when he was even free. Let's not sugarcoat this thing. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health condition was so bad. His health was deteriorating. Reports reports shown that he was suffering from multiple untreated health conditions. Guys, he was suffering from several health conditions. And after all these things, you expect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to take 120 million naira for his sufferings. Is 120 million naira enough to cure him of this health condition? These people are just playing pranks. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu suffered of health issues like heart issues, high blood pressure, ear problem caused by torture. They tortured him to the extent that he started developing ear problem. That was how bad they treated him. That was how bad they battered and tortured him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu went through hell, like he suffered. No one will survive like this. You see, I just believe that if it's not Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if it's not Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if it's an ordinary human being, the person would have died in cell since. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu passed through a lot, and they are bringing 120 million naira. What is 120 million naira compared to his life? What if he had died in cell? What would they say? What would Kenya government say? They need to act and they must pay the price. Those people that are involved in that crime, they need to point them out, identify them, arrest them, and persecute them. That is the only time, Biafrans will let go. Igbos are not troublesome people. It's Nigerian government they are looking for our trouble. Now, he passed through a lot of problems, health issues like heart issues, high blood pressure, ear problem caused by torture, and also stress-related illnesses. Yet, DSS refuses to allow him for proper medical care. They deny him access to his doctors. That is slow murder. It is a crime of inhuman treatment and medical negligence. No court, I repeat, no court in any civilized country would allow a man to remain in such a condition for this long without consequences. No court in any civilized country would allow a man to remain in such a condition for this long without consequences. So why is Nigeria allowed to do it? Is Nigeria civilized? Nigeria is lawless. Lawless. Let's just remember that Kanu has won in different courts. Let's remind ourselves of how Kanu won. In October 2022, the Nigerian Court of Appeal ruled that his arrest and detention were illegal and that he should be released. He was acquitted since 2022. We're in 2025. In October 2022, the court said that Nigeria violated its own law by forcefully adopting Kanu from another country without following extradition procedures. This is what appeal court said in 2022 October. What did Nigerian government do? They ignored the ruling. They filed a stay of execution. This shows that they don't respect the law. They don't respect the law at all. They respect power and they fear justice. Nigerian government, hey, hey, they don't know what they are doing to themselves. Now, you cannot destroy a man who stands on truth. That is one thing Nigerian government fails to understand. How can you destroy a man who stands on truth? Nigerian government thought by now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been, he will back out or he will quit. Or by now he'll be tired or he would have died in detention, with everything they did to him himself. No. Do you know one thing that shocks them? Do you know one thing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that shocks them? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it boldly that he doesn't care if another year is added to him, if he stays there for another year. That Justice Binta Nyako must recuse herself from his case. He said he doesn't care if he stays here for another year. But you see, Justice Binta Nyako must recuse herself from his case. That's to tell you that he's not even scared of, staying in DSS dungeon. All he wants is the freedom of his people. He has said it, the persecution of the Igbos. Nigerian government thought that he would have, gotten tired with the way they battered him, they tortured him, even with his health condition, that he will even quit or he will even be tired of agitating. But no, do you know that his voice is even louder in detention than when he was, when he was not arrested? His voice is more louder in detention. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu boldly talks to judge. Like, he's not even scared of anyone. He has said it. No court in Nigeria has the jurisdiction to try me. No court. As far as he was adopted illegally, his trial is not valid. It's considered invalid, and therefore he should be released. UK observers have said it too. So why is he still there? Nigerian government are scared of releasing him because they know that once they release him, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to expose them. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has endured more than most of us could survive. Let's know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has endured more than most of us could survive. They thought putting him in chains would break him. That's what they thought too. That locking up Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to break him. But instead, it made him stronger. It has made him stronger and stronger. He's not even tired, though. It has made him, that's it's an embarrassment and it shame to Nigerian government because what they planned is not going in favor of them. It's going against them. Their plan is going against them. Shame to Nigerian government because they thought that by now he'll be tired of agitating, but no, his voice is louder than when he was, before he was even arrested. What is his crime? What is his crime? That he said some things on radio. Is that his crime? That he refused to be silenced over the persecution of the Igbos. Is that his crime? They say self-determination is a crime. Self-determination is not a crime at all. They're calling him a terrorist even up till now. 5 years and still counting. Even if you give them all the years in this world, they don't have anything against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They cannot prove, guys. They call someone a terrorist and you've not even seen common matches with him. You call someone a terrorist, you cannot give that a credible evidence that makes this man a terrorist. Do you know he's a terrorist? It is clear that Nigerian government doesn't even know the true definition of a terrorist. All these Fulani terrorists these are the main terrorists. They are true definition of terrorists. But this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they have not caught him. They have not even tendered a video of him, with common machetes, not to talk of gun or AKs. But look at Fulani terrorists with machine guns, with bullets. They don't consider them as terrorists, though. It's an innocent person they will call terrorists. They can't even prove. This is 5 years now. They can't even give a single. What we are asking Nigerian government is, please give us a good evidence or a credible evidence and admissible evidence that makes this man a terrorist. No evidence, guys. 5 years, even if you give them the whole world, if you give them all the time in the world, they will not still prove because they know that they have nothing against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They have nothing against him, just that they want to silence him. They want to silence him. That's just it. They want to continue the persecution of the Igbos, which will not happen. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has said it. The persecution of the Igbos will end with him. Will end with him. He has said it time without number. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has endured more than most of us could survive. They thought putting him in chains would break him, but instead, it has made him stronger in the hearts of his people. He's now not just a leader. He's not more a leader again. He's not just a leader again. He's a symbol of resistance. You can lock a body, but not the spirit. They don't know that Biafran is a spirit. They don't know. It's time for global human rights organization, Western democracies, and the African Union to stop pretending they don't see. It's been long now. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention, although some have been talking, like Amnesty International has been talking. But it's not enough. They need to act. You cannot just come and talk. Act. We need to see you act. They will know that you're doing something towards the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is time for global human rights organization, Western democracies, and the African Union to stop pretending they don't see. They should speak loudly. They speak loudly on Ukraine. They condemn coups in Mali and Niger. But when a man is illegally adopted and held in solitary confinement for years, they go silent. Where is Amnesty International? Where is United Nations? Although Amnesty International has been talking, but it's not enough. They need to act. If the rule of law is truly a global value, then now is the time to act, because this is just not about being known, but it's about, justice. Finally, this is the message for every son and daughter of the East, every African with a conscience, and every human being who believes in justice. Don't stay silent. Share this message. Demand action. Hold Kenya and Nigeria accountable. Keep calling, keep writing, keep marching. Because as long as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in detention, none of us is free. There is nothing like freedom. You see, there is nothing like freedom. As long as that man is in detention, as long as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention, just know that nobody is free in this country. So now let's talk about how Igbos were, betrayed. The only region in Nigeria that I know that has suffered, that have endured a lot, is the Southeast. If you really want to understand Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's matter, you must understand the history. The Igbo people, they faced systematic injustice since the end of the Biafran War in 1970, even up till now, guys. Igbos are being marginalized politically. No region in Nigeria has become more marginalized and more economically strangled than the Southeast. Even till today, Igbos don't have equal rights with other tribes. They are treated like slaves in their own country. For Gowon to come out and tell you, that he killed the Igbos to unite Nigeria, what does this tell you? He came out to say that he had no option, he had to kill the Igbos to unite Nigeria. And you're asking yourself, is Igbo not part of Nigeria? How can you kill the Igbos to unite Nigeria? What does unity have to do with killing? You're killing, you're saying you're uniting. Does it make sense? Igbos were, persecuted. No region in Nigeria has been more marginalized and more economically strangled than the Southeast. From the massacre of innocent civilians during the war, to the abandoned properties, to the exclusion from power, infrastructure, and the federal investments, Igbos were was excluded from power, infrastructure, and federal investment. That was how bad it was. That was how bad they, treated Igbos. Even the abandoned properties, the massacre of innocent civilians, the operation of Python dance, and the extrajudicial killing of peaceful IPOB members. It's not just about politics, it's a pattern, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu becomes the voice that finally said enough is enough. That was what he did. That was why they went after his life. Because he said enough is enough to the persecution of the Igbos. That was why even till now he's still in DSS custody. He spoke not just about independence, but about dignity. That is why they fear him even up till today. The Nigerian government keeps calling him a terrorist. But let's pause and ask ourselves this question. And you see them calling, Chief of Defense has said, go and arrest him, he's a terrorist. Even up to now, Tinubu that said they cannot prove that he's a terrorist. That is the mind-blowing thing. That's annoying thing. How can you call someone a terrorist and then you can't even, why will you even call the person a terrorist at first when you don't have an evidence? When you are they know the true terrorist of Nigeria, but for some reasons they have refused to go after them. The Nigerian government keeps calling Kanu a terrorist. Let's ask ourselves this question. Has he burned anyone? No soldier, no civilian has come out to say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu killed his loved one or his father or his mother. No. Has he burned anyone? Has he burned any government building? Has he kidnapped citizens of foreign nations? If he has done any of this, they should bring out the video and evidence and show. None of them. He has not done anything. He's not a terrorist. He's not. No. What he did was to speak on Radio Biafra. That was what he did. He organized peaceful sit-at-homes. He educated people politically. Even when soldiers were invading his father's compound in 2019, did he retaliate? Did he retaliate violently? Did he revenge violently? You guys know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lost his two parents because of this, this case. Even after, do you know that they will not talk about this incident though? What they will do is to be calling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist. When soldiers invaded his father's compound in 2017 and was shooting anyhow, people lost their life in that incident, in that scene. He did not retaliate violently. If calling for self-determination is terrorism, then so is Nelson Mandela. You guys know the story of Nelson Mandela. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. He's a political prisoner. And that's that's just it. They want to kill the idea by destroying the man. They just want to, stop Biafran agitation. That is just it. They want to kill the idea by destroying the man. What we are witnessing is an attempt. Let me just tell you. What we are witnessing today is an attempt to assassinate a movement by crushing its leader. The Nigerian state believes that if they hold Kanu long enough, that Biafra would die. That's what they believe. They believe that if they hold Kanu long enough, that Biafra will die. But they fail to understand one thing. They fail to understand one thing. You can kill a man, but you can't kill an idea whose time has come. Biafra's time is now. The North wants it. Ijaw wants it. Yoruba wants it. Biafra time is now. That is why they cannot kill the idea of agitation, Biafran agitation. You can kill a man, but you cannot kill an idea whose time has come. The more they suppress him, the louder the people cry out. The more they jail him, the more the cause spread across the world. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. Nelson Mandela spent how many years? 27 years in prison. And he came out as president. Kanu has only spent 4. But it's already a global icon. It's already a global icon. Do you know the support? Do you know how many millions supporting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in this movement? Do you know? Now, Kenyan government should better do the needful. It's not even about bringing out 120 million because it will not do anything. It will not solve any problem. 120 million is an insult to justice system. You cannot erase injustice with any amount of money, even if you give them the whole money in the world. It cannot erase injustice. Kenya must understand that they now stand at a crossroad. Your court has been ruled. Yes, we have heard what you guys have said. Your constitution has spoken that the way Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was adopted It's illegal. It violates Kenya's law and Nigerian law and even international laws. We have heard you guys. But will your politicians obey the law, or will they obey Nigerian government's pressure? Would they bow to pressure? They should enforce the judgment. They should do the right thing. They should not bow, because I know that as they have come now to expose Nigerian government that they collaborated with them to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nigerian government never gets tired. They want to put in more effort, but a time will come when they will finally get tired. See, it's already obvious. Something is already obvious. Why don't you just back out and now admit the truth? Back out and admit the truth. That man is innocent. You know that he's innocent. You're just playing political pranks on, playing political games on him. Keyan must understand that this is not just about one man. This is what Keyan needs to understand. This is not about one man. This is about the soul of African democracy. If a citizen can be adopted from your soil and you cannot do anything about it, then your people are not safe. If they can adopt Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, just like that, and they cannot do anything about it, the people in Kenya are not safe, because it can happen to anyone there tomorrow. Kenya is not safe. If this can happen, and if this thing can happen and they don't have anything to do about it, Kenya is not safe. People there, they are not safe. Today it can be Kanu. Tomorrow it could be a journalist. It could be a lawyer. It could be a student. It could be a child. It could be even a politician self. Kenya must act before it's too late. Nigeria's image is collapsing before the world. With every extra day that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spends there in detention, every second he spends there, Nigeria's global image crumbles. The country that claims to be the giant of Africa now looks like a place where court orders are toilet papers. Where are human rights, where human rights mean nothing, where political prisoners rot in silence. See, giant of Africa. Who even named Nigeria giant of Africa? Who? The country that claims to be the giant of Africa now looks like a place where, court orders are toilet papers, where human rights mean nothing. They don't even care about human beings. Even like, you see, Nigerian government, a cow, common cow, in fact, they see cow as bigger human beings. They see the real human beings as chickens. It's happening. I don't want to even go about what Fulani and their cows are doing in Nigeria. I just want to stick to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case, because if I go to that aspect, cows are more respected. They regard the life of a cow than human beings in this country. A country that claims that they are giant of Africa. Investors are watching. Who wants to invest with Nigeria now? Investors are watching. Diplomats are watching. The diaspora is watching. You cannot build a credible nation on the bones of impunity. Free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and restore some dignity to your own reputation. Nigerian government won't get reputation again. No. Bad reputation. Now, freedom is not a gift, it's a right. We should know that. Let this be known. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not need a pardon. He has said it several times that he is not begging anyone to release him. He said, no one should beg for my release. I demand justice. It is my rights. I didn't do anything. He doesn't need negotiation. Doesn't need pardon. He needs justice because he has committed no crime. Freedom is not a gift from the government. It's a right from birth. And when that right is taken away, the people must rise up and demand for it. He must be released, not because the government feels generous, but because the law demands it. The people demand it, and even God demands it. We are no longer in the 1960s. This is an era of social media, global awareness, and international activism. What is hidden in DSS cell is being shouted in the street of London, New York, Toronto, and other countries. The world is watching Nigeria. The world is watching Kenya. And they are watching to see if Africa will stand by the truth or fail for tyranny. The choice is clear. What Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is saying is clear. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu uphold justice, respect the court, and let light again shine. Let the light of freedom shine again. That is just it. What the Nigerian government is doing to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not just physical. It's a psychological long-term isolation, denial of medical care, restricted legal access, and censorship of his voice. This is a mental affair. They want to break his mind. They want to send a message that his followers. They want to send a message to his followers. This is what happened when you rise up. Now, here is the truth about this is the truth. This is what they don't understand. This is what Nigerian government doesn't understand. When a man suffers for a cause bigger than him, you cannot break him. When a man suffers for a cause bigger than him, you cannot break him. You can never break him. You only sharpens him. They were thinking by now he will get tired and back out. But what they are doing is making him stronger and stronger every day. Stronger and stronger. This is what Nigerian government doesn't know. When a man suffers for a cause bigger than him, you cannot break him. You only sharpens him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being forged in the fire of oppression. And when he comes out, he will speak with the authority of pain. Oh, even Tinubu go dey bow. All those people that didn't believe in him will be bowing. The worst is that Nigerian, IPOB members, Nigerian government has to even pay IPOB members to, speak against him. My dear, what can Nigerian government not use money and do when people are crying of hunger? Who said Nigerian government doesn't have money? Do you know that the current leadership has borrowed more than past governors? President, sorry, I mean to say. But look at how Nigerians are suffering. They have the money. If they want to end killings, if they want to end hunger, they will do it now. But they have one agenda, and is known to themselves. He respects a cry. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu respects a cry for justice that has echoed from Biafra to the world. It's now a world problem. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now a global icon. Even those who disagree with his method must admit his spirit has ignited a fire in the hearts of men and women. His spirit has ignited a fire in the hearts of men and women who were once voiceless. Igbos couldn't talk. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is talking for them and said enough is enough. They arrested him. He's not just a man anymore. He's a movement, a message, a mirror of the oppressed. Africa must not be a slave to itself. Let's talk about African unity. We preach pan-Africanism. We cry about what's it called? But we march against foreign exploitation. But how can Africans stand tall in the world when one African country, Kenya, sells out a freedom fighter to another African country? How? For political favors. They talk about pan of Africanism and neo-colonialism. But then Kenya sold a man to Nigeria for political favors. We blame the West, but the betrayal came from our own hand. We say Africa, every time they say Africa for Africans, but who will protect Africans for African governments? They say Africa for Africans, but who will protect Africans from African governments? Until Kenya fully undergoes this wrong, they remain collaborators in oppression. You cannot claim moral high ground while standing in the shadow of injustice. Look at the selective Nigeria get judiciary. We don't even have a good judiciary. Election is out of Nigeria is not a democratic country. Nothing in this country makes Nigeria democratic. Is it election? Is there anything like free and fair election in this country? When the person that will be president in 2031, they've already signed it in 2024. Now, you know that there is selective justice in Nigeria's judiciary. Let's face the truth. Nigeria's justice system works like a two-sided coin. If you're a corrupt politician, you get bail. Yaya Bello that stole billions, many politicians that stole billions of naira, all of them were granted bail. If you're a bandit or you're a terrorist, you get amnesty. They will reward you. If you loot public fund, they will call you distinguished. But if you speak for your people's freedom, they will call you a terrorist and lock you in DSS forever. All these terrorists everywhere, once they catch them, they will grant them amnesty, they will give them hillocks, they will, reward them, give them lands, give them houses. And that is why insecurity cannot end in Nigeria. People that looted or corrupt politicians, they grant them bail. And then people that loot public funds, they call them distinguished. But look at a man that have done nothing, that is just speaking for his people's freedom. They called him a terrorist and then they locked him up in the SS dungeon without good medical care, even with his health conditions. Denied him of his doctor. Is that not slow murder? Why is Nigerian government after Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? They know that he's innocent. They just want to silence him. They want to favor their political games. Now, this is not justice. This is tyranny wearing a judicial robe. And the world must say it plainly. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being held not for what he did, but for what he represents. He didn't do anything. Even his absence, IPOB has not even died. Even in his absence. Sit at home orders still shakes the region. The people still wear Biafran color. Even in his absence, Biafran is still stronger, rooted strongly or firmly. The message still spread on radio, social media, and through diaspora. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a dictator, his movement would have collapsed by now. But because he built a vision, a dream rooted in justice and fairness, it continues to strive. They locked up the man, but his vision is still working freely among millions. That's power. That's one thing we should know. So, guys, you can see that Kenyan government cannot just come and or buy justice. No, you cannot buy justice. Justice is priceless. They need to act. The fact that Kanu is still there, they are still the grand masters of planner of this thing. They are still involved in the plan to adopt Kanu. So they should act fast, and Kanu should be released. Those people that are involved in that offense, they should identify them, arrest them, persecute them, then compensate him. What is 120 million naira? It's too small. It's too small. This is what Kenyan government needs to do. So, guys, I've come to the end of this live section. Thank you for joining me. Guys, please hit the subscribe button if you're new to this channel. It's just free. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever we drop update like this. I'll still come back and update you guys on the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the 18th of July. And I won't want you to miss it. So, guys, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like button, drop a like for us, and also comment under the comment section. Let me know what you're saying on this headline. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.